I'm here to tell you about a real problem facing our nation's military.
A Maga Mesmas video message from Whiskey Pete. Can we have a single day without this sugar, honey, iced tea?
Maga Mesmas, baby. Turn up the mic, turn down the memo, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. It's that Maga Mesmas season up at the Pentagon tonight. They're stuffing stockings full of memos, calling censorship, doing it right. They took the word belief off the dog tags, filed our souls another misc, said relax, it's just the database, but it's our lives they love to fix.
Serious grown man in the studio, giving you my thesis, not the trends. That's my lane, and I'm driving in it. No shortcuts, just necessary stops along the way. Listen while you drive, and when you hit that red light, smash like and subscribe. If you get lost in the hustle and bustle of your day, lock back into Thesis of the World as you wind down your night. Welcome back to Thesis of the World. Let's get into it.
Merry Christmas from the Pentagon, where the gift this year isn't a bonus. It's a bureaucratic eraser. Welcome to Maga Mesmas. While you were hanging stockings, the paper pushers were busy hanging your religious liberty out to dry. They're calling it simplification. I call it a spiritual hit and run. They're scrubbing the faith and belief codes that define who you are, how you serve, and most importantly, how you're honored when you're carried home. If you think your dog tags and your final burial rites are safe from a spreadsheet purge, think again. The war on the Chaplain Corps just went digital, and the casualties are your convictions. Buckle up. We're going from hallelujah to how to delete in record time. Let's get into it.
For about 200 years, the Chaplain Corps continued its role as the spiritual leader of our service members, serving our men and women in times of hardship and ministering to their souls. But sadly, as part of the ongoing war on warriors, in recent decades, its role has been degraded. In an atmosphere of political correctness and secular humanism, chaplains have been minimized, viewed by many as therapists instead of ministers. Faith and virtue were traded for self-help and self-care. If you need proof, just look at the current Army Spiritual Fitness Guide. In well over 100 pages, it mentions God one time. That's it. It mentions feelings 11 times. It even mentions playfulness, whatever that is, 9 times. There's zero mention of virtue. The guide relies on New Age notions, saying that the soldier's spirit,
We all know Whiskey Pete know about them spirits,
consists of consciousness, creativity, and connection. The guide itself reports that around 82% of the military are religious, yet ironically it alienates our warfighters of faith by pushing secular humanism. In short, it's unacceptable and unserious, so we're tossing it. I have a directive right here that I will sign today to eliminate the use of the Army Spiritual Fitness Guide effective immediately. These types of training materials have no place in the War Department. Our chaplains are chaplains, not emotional support officers, and we're going to treat them as such.
He's out of line.
That's why today at my direction, we are also simplifying the faith and belief coding system. In recent years, it ballooned to over 200 overly complex faith and belief codes. An overwhelming majority of the military population only uses 6 codes. 11 are not used by anyone. So we're going to streamline it and move it to a new list of religious affiliation codes.
bullshit.
Maga Mesmas from the Pentagon, where the gift this year is more swindle and your beliefs becomes a bureaucratic eraser. Now you're saying these codes will be simplified, streamlined, or, in truth, no longer recognized in any meaningful way. We're being told it's about efficiency. Who is he to just remove religious identifiers, saying they are not being used? You and I both know people who belong to various religious doctrine who may never go to any brick and mortar services or need to speak with a spiritual advisor. Does this make their religious beliefs any less important? What they are truly saying is that they have decided which religious identifiers they will keep and the ones that will be deleted. In other words, sorry, your distinct faith and belief codes are an inconvenience. When you erase a soldier's specific belief from the record, you are saying their convictions don't count. That leaves a soldier's final honor at the mercy of a generic checkbox before they're even in the ground. You are saying that a devout Catholic, a practicing Jew, an observant Muslim, a Baptist, a Lutheran, a humanist, an atheist, a Sikh, or anyone else is just generic religious for bureaucratic purposes. You are saying that when they fall on the battlefield, the details of their faith, their sacraments, their prayers, their burial rites are negotiable, flexible, optional. What happens when a service member who lived and died by his faith is buried under a symbol he never professed or without the rite he begged for? What happens when a family receives their loved one home and discovers that the military didn't even bother to track what that service member actually believed? What happens when a chaplain shows up who has no connection to that soldier's faith simply because the system no longer bothered to distinguish? This is a betrayal. This isn't theoretical. Those faith and belief codes ripple out into every corner of a service member's life. Which religious holidays they can ask to observe, whether they can request dietary accommodations, how commanders understand and respect their deepest convictions in there, and yes, how we honor them when they are carried home under a flag, in a flag-draped coffin, to their final rest. You cannot claim to be a serious person while you are simultaneously scrubbing away the very identifiers that protect a service member's religious liberty in life and in death. You cannot promise to make the Chaplain Corps great again while you are quietly erasing the diversity of faith they are called to serve. If we are serious about restoring the Chaplain Corps, then we must be serious about protecting every single service member's faith identity, down to the code, down to the dog tags, down to the headstone. That means more than speeches. It means policy. It means saying, no, we will not stop recognizing these codes. We will not flatten every belief into a handful of generic categories just because a spreadsheet is easier to manage. The men and women who wear the uniform do not give us their generic selves. They give us their whole selves, their bodies, their minds, and yes, their souls. We owe them the dignity of being seen, recognized, and honored for who they truly are, in life and in death. Chaplains can do and be all the things from a therapist, a counselor, emotional support, crisis intervention, ethical guidance, and advocacy and care. Commanders don't have to share their troops' beliefs to respect them. Commanders lead troops into battle, giving them all the armor, air support, and equipment to protect the outer shell, and many have paid the ultimate price. Protecting their freedom to believe or not believe is part of the same mission. Now it's being farmed out to a glitchy database by a directive drafted at the hands of someone cosplaying a Christian, but is marinated in Christian nationalism. Hands down, this is a shit show clown administration, and we all will be glad when the show is over. There has never been an administration that has caused this much harm. When you delete a faith or belief code, you're not reducing redundancy. You're erasing the trail that tells us who this person said they were when it mattered. That trail guides which chaplain shows up, what's on their dog tags, what's on their headstone, and what their family hears at the funeral. You're not just editing a spreadsheet, you're editing the last chapter of someone's life. And judging by this administration's track record, that's not a mistake. It's one more deliberate step toward turning the force into a de facto Christian nationalist corps. We can fix the Chaplain Corps and still tell the truth. Not everyone believes, and not everyone wants a chaplain. Fine. But we are not going to pretend that flattening service members' beliefs into a couple of bland categories is progress. If the military is serious about service members, it has to respect their convictions, even the ones it doesn't understand, and especially the ones it doesn't like. I don't have a horse in the holy war race, but I'll be the first one in the foxhole fighting for your right to worship as you choose, as long as you're not hurting anyone. Because if we don't protect the freedom to believe or not believe, we're not defending a country anymore. We're sleepwalking back into a time that annihilated millions, running a playbook that looks way too familiar to 1930 Germany, cloaking it in patriotism when, in reality, it's the final nail in a cult manifesto.
Thank you for locking back into Thesis of the World. Serious grown man in the studio, driving in my lane, giving you the thesis, not the trends, seeing the world through different prisms. If this helped you see this diaspora a little clearer, or made you pause and rethink, pass along my coordinates. And most important, smash like and subscribe. Don't exit without choosing a direction. It helps grow this platform. And the algorithm will respond in kind by pushing this to more like-minded viewers. Until we meet again, let the echoes of freedom break through the silence and the chaos. Remind them who we are, and that we will never surrender, even if we surrender to ourselves for a short period of time. I'll see you at the next stop, and I'm out.